Hello humans, this is Random Guy and welcome to the Random Channel. Today we're going to be reviewing another anime. This time we have Dune Exorcist. I watched this show like a week ago or so, and I personally really like the show, so I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a little review video about it. I've been watching a little too much anime. I should cut back, honestly. But yeah. So what the show is about is that there's a guy that is very powerful, who's quite young. I think in the show, like at the high, yeah, at the start he was like 14. So there's a guy who's strong, but something happened, some tragedy happened when he was younger, when he was 12. Because of that, he stopped using his overpowered powers. And then there's a chick who just wants to become the strongest exorcist in all of existence. So this so there's this thing that the chick becomes very strong, and then she comes into contact with the main character, and she's fighting some really strong enemy, which are called Kegare, by the way. And then he saves her, and then they get into this plot point where they both are betrothed. They're going to be married in the future, and when they have a child, the child will be called Miko, which would be like very, will be like a very strong being of existence. Like the two exorcists, the strongest exorcist, when they produce a child, make like a super strong baby or something, and that baby will bring about the upbringing of humanity, or the betterment of humanity, upliftment of humanity from Kegare are basically alternate dimension demons in the show, or monsters. I would prefer to use term monster instead of demons. So let's go. Why did I become Mario for so long? Let's go. Okay, so let's go into the pros and cons of the show. First of all, the transformation and the animations are fairly nice. Like the main character uses these talismans to summon various powers, and the from the way the talismans function, even the smallest things like just using rocks as bullets, something simple as that even is shown so fucking dramatically that it's actually fairly decent to look at. Other than that, the animations regarding when an attack is about to be launched, they're like make the screen a little bit darker and then throw the kanji on the screen for that attack, so it looks really cool. I personally really like the animation and transformation scenes, though there is a problem that after a while they get repetitive. Considering this, if this was like a 12 episode show, it wouldn't become repetitive. It would not become anywhere near repetitive. But considering that the show is what is that thing called? The show is 50 episode long, so the small amount of animation they have in the show just does not cut for the extreme length of the runtime of the show. The show is still going on, by the way, in form of manga. They are not making any new seasons. I have not heard any news of any new season coming out. Probably won't come out. I mean, if it does, that would be great. But as far as I know, only the manga is continuing. Fucking hell. There's some nice plot twist in the show. I would personally say so. I didn't expect this show to have any plot twist from the way it looked in the first look and like the first few episodes. It just looked like a show that's like, here's the enemy, here's the main character, and it's like fight, and like good bad, main character wins at the end from like friendship and shit, and done. Something like that. The show looked like that, but apparently the show had a lot more to offer compared to what I thought initially what it had to offer. Than that, we have surprisingly heavy at times. Like a lot of the things that are in the show turns out to be fairly, I would say, heavy. They're not dark, mind you. They're not dark. I mean, the show tries to be dark, but they're not dark, but they are heavy, certainly. Like certain things you would like, okay, that's a difficult decision to make. Something like that. So I like that. Um, Other than that, we have what is it? Action is good, but it only lasts for like 20 seconds. So this point should more of be in con, considering the action is just like, the fight, like they're fighting, and then like it lasts for like 20 seconds they fight, or like 10 seconds they fight, and they back out, and the main character or like the enemy is like, oh shit, he's too strong, we can't defeat him. And then they're like fight for 5 more seconds, and then they go live. Then they start talking to the enemy, and the enemy starts to have a conversation, and then they'll both sit down and have a civilized conversation. That sort of thing the show goes for. I think the problem with this is probably a con of the show, which I've written in the pros of the show, is that okay looking girls. There are a lot of girls in the show, but nothing that stands out, and neither are they very interesting. They're somewhat cute, I guess. They're not even cute, honestly. They're just like, they're in the show. The only girl that, that kind of looks cute and is also kind of unique looking would be Mayuru, which is one of the side chicks of the show. So yeah, she's the only one I think that looks unique enough for me to pay much attention to her. In like the main character strike range, obviously. I mean, there are other girls as well which are like mildly different, but nothing that stands out too much to me considering this type of animation. Fucking hell, why am I yawning all the time? like dementia or something. Okay, so next is the main character doesn't lose his shit completely in embarrassing situations. Like, so one of the things in the show is that something embarrassing comes up in some show, the main character completely loses. It's like, oh, what the fuck, something embarrassing. Like, it's like he feels like someone loves to buy a weapon in his face or something, and he's just overreacting. Just like in this show, the main character gets embarrassed, sometimes even is aggressive in embarrassing situations, but it's nothing too extreme. It's nothing like that stands out. It's just like very subtle, which I personally like, because I don't like the main character losing his shit every 2 seconds. Like, it's understandable if you lose it every now and then, but like every 2 seconds is just annoying. Other than that, we have character development. Character development is a big thing in this show because the main character grows up. I mean, not in like physical sense. In terms of like maturity levels, the maturity level of the main character goes up, becomes less obnoxious. The main chick goes up in terms of all the good stuff. I personally really like that. And lastly, would be they bring in characters, right, that you give no shits about, and they character develop them in a single episode, and they make them so fucking good that you just like, okay, yeah, that's a good character. I like them. Like, they can connect you to a character that you have no feelings towards in just a single episode, which is a very big thing for a show to do. Many shows take the sweet time to do that. Many shows fail at doing that. This show does that in like one episode. Now, I'm not gonna say that this show is the best at it, considering like a show like Mob Psycho could do the same thing that this show does in an episode in like 1 minute, like 30 seconds to a minute. It can grow character development for a character from 0 to 100 within a single minute. It's just absolutely ridiculous how fast they character develop, and they do it very good. In this show, it takes an episode which is still fairly fast compared to various other shows. I personally like it. Pain is depicted quite well. Generally in the show, I have a complaint that the pain is not that extreme. It's like the main character goes flying, hits a wall, and it's like, oh, and then like slight amount of blood comes out of his mouth, and it's like, oh man, that hurt. That's what it looks like. But honestly, I would say that this what was I saying again? Right. There are like 1 or 2 scenes where when the main character or the main chick gets hurt, and when they scream or when they look pained, it looks so fucking good. There's one scene where there's like the main chick's legs get broken or something, and she's crying, like there's multiple streams of tears going out on her teeth. It's just like crying, and you just realize that she's actually a 14-year-old child. So obviously, it's quite well done. In that fucking scene, in terms of pain, was quite well done. What else do we have? Yeah, I already read that. Okay, it's just funny and cute. There's a lot of scenes where the serious tone of the situation is dropped down using the cute and funny aspect of the show, which is not a bad thing because some shows do it in like a major crucial thing, and some shows just do it for a little bit of comedic relief. Something like how should I put this? Something like. The main chick, let's put it this way, that war discussion is going on. All right, they're like, oh, we should nuke this country. So in that scene, if you just bring in a character that going all funny, then that ruins the fucking seriousness of the situation. On the other hand, like it's like someone like this, someone is talking about war in the war room, like we should do a conventional war through here, and the funny character is just like, we should just drop a nuke, and everyone looks at him and is just like, I'm just kidding. That sort of thing is just like slightly funny. But other than that, if not done right, it just gets ridiculous. The voice actor for a character called Yuto, right? So he's I don't remember his full name. He's like Yuto, right? So Yuto's main character, the voice actor for his is just so good. So the main character's name is Rokuro, and he calls him Roku, but he says Roku in such a fucking weird ass, annoying ass voice. Considering he's the antagonist, right? The Yuto is antagonist, so it gets really pissy. Like you get angry at the main antagonist, not because of what he does, but because of how he says the main character's name. It's so fucking annoying, but I love it. It's so good. Let's see, what else do we have? This show tries to push the good over bad thing. Like if you're a good person, good things happen to you. If you're a bad person, bad things happen to you. Things like this is one scene where like a random guy is running with a random chick, and monsters, the Kegare, surround them. So what he does, he pushes the girl into the Kegare, right? And then that creates a small opening. So he runs and then he escapes that situation. And then after that, a random chick shows up and then she kills him. A completely new character introduction that has not been shown up till that point was specifically at that point to kill this guy, to show that bad person will die, like bad person is just like, oh, the bad person is not good, this and that, the same subjective, objective morality bullshit. Morality is subjective, but these shows try to push it the way like, oh, morality is subjective somehow, which is fucking stupid. So like what else was he supposed to do? There are two options, right? Now option number one is that he could there are a few options actually. For option number one, he could have pushed the girl into the Kegare, right, which caused an opening which he could run through, which he did. Second, he would just stand there baffled and confused while the Kegare eat both of them alive, right? And third, he could self-sacrifice onto the Kegare, but I doubt the girl would have been able to, considering I think she was wearing heels or something. I doubt she would have been able to escape that fast, and considering it was not her plan, I doubt she would have been able to, escape that situation. She wouldn't be able to react if he just suddenly goes like, oh, run, or like, there's the opening or something like that. I doubt she would be able to do that. But at the same time, it's like, is it so bad to have a, self-preservation instinct? It's just an instinct. Like if someone does not want to die, that's that. Like, what the fuck are you even, punishing this guy for? Like, when that guy died after pushing this girl and running off, that was not the new character killing the guy or like a shitty character introduction. That was that. It was the creators of the show killing the guy, which I personally really despise that fucking scene. Not because that the quote unquote horrible guy died, is because the way they did it. They could have just left it like, okay, yeah, this is the state of society right now. that people just are concerned with themselves. So this guy pushes him, the girl, into the kegare and runs away. And that was they could have just panned out and go like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the state of society right now. But they were like, no, we're gonna kill the guy as well just to push the good and bad narrative. A similar thing happened in that show as well, High School of the Dead. There's this scene where two girls are running, best friends or whatever, and then one of them gets grabbed by a zombie, so and get pulled down, and they bite into his leg. So the other girl, and she keeps holding on to the girl's hand that is not bitten, and the other girl that is not bitten, like kicks her in the face and pushes her down the stairs with the zombies, and then suddenly zombies come in and eat her as well. So it's like, what the fuck? Like, why is that so stupid? Like, the girl got bit, right? So she's gonna turn into a zombie anyway. So right, so how the fuck is she supposed to do that? Like, and then the zombie just come out of nowhere. She just like has no fucking spatial awareness. They were running from left to right. They came to the stairs. Since they were looking forward, there's no way the zombies could have come from forward. They came from running from the back, so there's no way the zombies caught up with them at that speed that they were running at, considering zombies were only walking. Then where did the fuck did these three zombies show up out of nowhere and then kill the girl who pushed the other girl down the stairs, despite the fact that the other girl would have turned into a zombie anyway? What's the fucking point? It's so fucking stupid. When shows try to push this, good and bad narrative onto the characters, just gets annoying. It's just so fucking annoying. And they don't even show the girl die. The girl he pushes into the kegare, she's obviously dead because there's literally no way out. But they didn't show that. They showed this guy chopped into pieces, like not even killed normally. Like, slices, like chop, chop, chop. They went for that instead of, and that girl they didn't even show. It's like so fucking stupid. What else do we have? Is the harem ruined? Oh my fucking god! This is one of the things which shows that I just want to say this confirmatory is that do not introduce a harem if you don't want to continue with it. Right? Mark and Key does this shit, is that leave you hanging. What they do is that they go for, the main character is like still deciding between which girl he wants to pick and he cannot get a harem. It's like, stop introducing harems then. If you don't want the main character like that, in a dilemmic situation like that, just don't introduce harem. Right? And if you're going to introduce harem and going to go for the main character has to pick one girl type shit, then do it properly. Like, this show does not do it properly. Like, there's this two girls, right? There's Benio, there's Mayuru. Mayuru knows main character for a long time, right? And she is in love with the main character for a long time. And then this shit chick shows up out of nowhere, and then suddenly main character falls in love with this chick after a little while, and she doesn't even retaliate. Like, you would think that she would fight a little bit for the guy she loves, she has loved for all her life. Like, she was like 10 or 12, since then she loves the main character. She does not like retaliate, she does not make a move, she clearly loves him. It's like so obvious, and then they just like, whatever, and then they're like, what the fuck? And then later in the show they go for with Mayuru then falls for another guy, kind of falls for another guy. It's like maybe falling in love with another guy. It's like, how? It's just like her love would just gave up. Like, there was no love to begin with. Then you shouldn't have shown this shit. Like, you could literally gone with this, that Mayuru, the childhood friend of the main character, was a friend of his that would help him get into a lovely relationship with his future wife Benio. Right? You could have gone for that simple shit. The side chick that was childhood friend would help the main character get with the main chick, right? But they went for the side chick loves the main character deeply. Main chick shows up, side chick's like, I'm out, I can't compete with the main chick. And then fuck this, fuck that, and just like no jealousy, there is no crying. Like, literally, there's this show that like a girl of this age, 14, 15-year-old, that loves this guy for the entirety of her life, but then he gets snatched away in an instant. She doesn't do anything to prevent that. She doesn't make any moves, right? And then she doesn't even like cry or regret it. Like, there's no crying, there's no regretting. It's like there was no love to begin with. Then why did you show it in that manner. It makes no sense. It makes no, absolutely no sense. Just so fucking ridiculous. That's one of the things that I hated about this show. Extreme hatred for this show regarding that one thing. That honestly ruined a lot of the show for me. Let's get into some technical shit. Is that what are familiars? This show goes for, like, there's a main world, there's Megano, which is like a what is that thing called, alternate world where the monsters live, right? They go for that. So what exactly are Shikigami? Shikigamis are familiars that people can summon. So where are they being summoned from? Is there a third world that you did not talk about in the show? Like, where do they get summoned from? What are they even? They never really talk about that. They missed a lot of opportunity for romantic and sexual shit. Is that the show just does not go into neither categories. Like, you don't want to go into the sexual shit. Like, there's literally a thing where they are traveling in a van for like a week or so. So they're almost alone in a van for a week or so. They could easily get intimate with each other. A 16-year-old kids, dude, like a 16-year-old kids, there should be hormone raging, and they're just not making any moves. Like, no kissing, no nothing. It's absolutely no sexual shit at all. And on top of that, not even the romantic shit is high on the list. It's not like there's this scene where they're like traveling overnight on a bus, right? So they literally could have this scene where the main chick hugs onto the guy's hand, and then he like kisses her on the forehead and then just leans onto her head, and they both sleep while holding each other's hand while like very sweet music plays in the background. They could have done that. No, they didn't even take advantage of romantic opportunities. It is so fucking stupid. That's one of the things that I don't like. Other thing is, where is the military? There is absolutely no. Now, I'm not go into spoiler category, so I'm not gonna say why exactly the military is needed. But let's just say, like, monsters show up, right? Where is the military? Like, no police shows up, no military shows up. Like, the maximum extent of what the police is shown is that the fucking police comes in and like helps people who got injured. And there's no fighting with the Kegare at all. It's just Exorcist fighting them. It's like, why? What is this? Like, where is the fucking military? Like, at least in a show, like in a alien invasion show, what they do is like the gigantic alien ship comes in, the military goes in, launches a nuke or like fires some missiles or send the fighter planes in, then immediately the fighter planes get destroyed because there's the superior technology of the aliens. They could at least have done that, right? They didn't even do that. There's like no military in the show. There's like no fucking firearms. There's no military. There's no one who's doing anything in the show. It is fucking stupid. It is absolutely fucking stupid. Other than that, like, public reaction and politics are shown little to nothing. I don't know if anything is different in the manga, but as far as the show is concerned, the fucking as far as the show is concerned, the main character just does not not the main character. The public, they show it like the public does not know about the Exorcist, while at the same time neither the politics are shown at all. It's like, obviously, if Exorcists exist, right, so the government should know about the Exorcist, right? Simple as that. The government should know that, Exorcists exist and they fight Kegare. Simple as that. But they are never shown in a political standpoint. On top of that, when monsters show up in a town, right, in a normal public town, and people die from that, the government makes up an excuse that it's an influenza virus. How is in this modern age where like there's cameras and everything, the people who survived that shit, there's no memory wiping out bullshit, then how the fuck did that news not make it out? Like, how the fuck do you explain that shit? It's like so many people dying from this monster attack and they're just like, oh, influenza. It's like so fucking stupid. And when people, normal people like you and me, doing their everyday thing, right? Monsters show up. Then these people show up. They're like, we are exorcists and we kill these monsters. And they're like, oh wow, Exorcist, like the comic books? And they're like, yes, like the comic books. And they're like, okay, go kill the monsters then, thank you. And then there's like just literally just that. It's just literally there's like no reaction whatsoever. Like if tomorrow you're walking down the street, right, and someone points a gun at you, and then suddenly they get engulfed in flame and die, and you look to the right, and some random dude is standing there with his hand out, and there's like shooting flame out of his hand. Like you would be ridiculous. You would like, what the actual fuck was that? Right? You wouldn't go like, thank you, you saved me with that firepower you have. It is so fucking stupid. And on top of that, where is the rest of the world? Like they literally show everything on the fucking in Japan. It's literally everything. It's like the monster showing up in Japan, the exorcist fighting them in Japan. Like every problem that is showing up is in Japan. There's no response from the rest of the world. The rest of the world is just like non-existent in the show. There's like a little talk about the rest of the world in like the last few episodes, but other than that, the rest of the world is just not shown. Like fucking hell, like no politics, no nothing. Like I can understand it's a shonen show, right? It's a shonen show, but that doesn't mean this politics doesn't exist. Like My Hero Academia, have you seen that show? That shit is shonen as fuck. But even then, they showed like how society is affected by all of this. Like they're not fucking retarded with that show, at least. Despite the show, I'm not exactly a big fan of that show, but still, it's not retarded on this fucking level. This is just ridiculous. What else do we have? Fucking hell. I didn't like Benio. The main chick, I didn't like her. I didn't like any other chicks or characters. As I said, they're not memorable. They're just mildly cute. They're not hot. They're nothing. Honestly, if I were to choose, the main character should have gone with the side chick Mayuru. She got a tangy personality. She's cute. She loves the main character. She got big ass titties, right? And she got like a real double shade hair too. So she looks unique. She is unique. She's fun to talk to. She's fun to be around. The main character likes her. Now, what is the fucking problem? This show should have been gone. If they didn't really want a harem ending, right? They didn't want to go for a harem ending. They didn't want polygamy. They wanted monogamy. They could have gone for this. The show is about the strongest exorcist having sex and making a child, right? So they could have gone for like the main character falls in love with Mayuru. And then they both learn, fight together, and he slowly makes her strong. And then they end up having a child and they become strong, or whatever that is. They would have gone for that. Choose your own fate. Like this show is like it's like reading out a script. They're just following a single direction. Right? It's just literally like from the first episode, you barely already know how the show is going to end. Right? It's ridiculous how fucking bad they did that. I would have preferred if it were Mayuru. Benio is not my cup of tea. Yeah, cliche there are in the show. Like the main character is like, oh, all the burden is mine, all the responsibility is mine, and pushes all the fucking work on himself, and then gets can't handle it. That sort of thing. Other than that, there's like a dark imitation, which means like the show tries to be dark. It's, as I said, it's heavy, right? But it's not dark. But it certainly tries to be dark. Just push the dark narrative all over the place. It's clearly not dark, but they're still trying to make it dark. That is one of the bigger issues that I have with the show. Other than that, we have oh boy, there's like this one thing. Oh, these are cons of the show, by the way. I didn't even mention the fact. I just started reading them out loud. The cons of the show. These are all the things that I didn't like about the show. Other thing than that is there's a lot of talking about fighting. Is like the main character is talking about fighting. They're talking in between fighting. It's like the Tokyo Ghoul has talking and fighting, right? But they know when to do shit. They can fight while talking, and they can stop in between fights to talk. They can do a lot of that shit, but they make it so perfectly done. It's just so well done, right? This show is just so fucking trash with that shit. It's just like, we can only do one thing at a time. What are you, fucking Pentium 3 computer? Like, can't even like process all that shit. It's so fucking stupid. Other thing with that show is that Tokyo Ghoul actually keeps the romance on, right? Despite the fact the main character may not see the female character for a long time, the main chick, the main character may suffer from a lot of problems, both mental and physical. Despite all that, like they may not see each other for 2 seasons straight, right? And despite all of that, the show still is capable of keeping the romance as heavy as it was after the first few episodes when they fall in love, right? It's so fucking ridiculous. This show is not even close to, being getting the romance or the fighting right. Other than that, we have the side characters are weak as fuck. Like hell, even Dragon Ball Z, right? The side characters are strong, right? They actually do something. In this show, the side characters are only the only plot point they serve is that number one, they are friends of the main character, so if they get hurt, the main character gets angry. That's the plot point they serve. Other than that, they kill the small Kegare. So that's why they're able to hold off the smaller ones off the main characters a little bit until they get bodied, and then the main characters have to handle everything on their own. That's fucking annoying. So they're really lacking in power. Like, is this one thing to be bitch? There's one thing to be, liability, but this show just makes them so fucking underpowered that they're pointless to be there. Like, their existence is like meaningless there. They're not even there for emotional support, considering the main character doesn't really get emotional in between a fight regarding his friends all that much. The main character is like jagged, spiky teeth. I don't know why they chose that art style or like character design for him. Like, you could have not gone for like normal teeth as normal people have. It's just like, why are spiky teeth there? It's like so fucking stupid with that shit. Other than that, we as I said, romance aspect is lacking, both physical and emotional. Does the public know about the Kegare? No talk about that. The main character's resolve is cheesy. Like, many a times, even when the story gets a little bit complex, the main character is just like, There's like nothing too major that I feel like a sense of urgency over. Comedy ruins various serious scenes. They couldn't use the dark aspect of the show. There's I'm gonna give a little bit of micro spoiler in the show. It's like there's no death in the show, right? In terms of like people die in the show, but there's no death in terms of like anyone major dying. If you're not an absolute fucking retard, then when you watch this show, you will immediately will be able to tell when a character dies that they didn't actually die. It's like obvious, so fucking obvious. Doesn't matter how long they keep the appearance of that the character died, but it's clearly obvious that they didn't die. It's like you can already tell that this show will not kill them. It's such a fucking pussy show. They could have killed them, and the show would have gotten better reviews from me, because that would have made the show much better if they could have just killed off the characters they actually did kill instead of just reviving them. This is why I'm not exactly looking forward to Endgame of Marvel. What else do we have? Yeah, I don't feel any hatred towards the antagonist, except for the fact that he says Roku in that weird ass voice. That I love it and hate it at the same time. Except for that, the antagonist is annoying, but I don't feel hatred towards him. Cheesy talking pet, the thing they do where they have that side character, a human or a pet, that like constantly hits the main character, going like, "Don't dare you come near my master or my like sister," or whatever. It's like tsundere, ecchi, and like fucking annoying bullshit. That sort of thing. That's annoying. They should have started the show when the main character was 16. What they did is that they started the show when the main character was 14, and then they moved on to him becoming 16 at the end of the show, right? But what they could have done is that they could have started at 16 and ended at 18, right? So it would have been so fucking simple. Why? Because they could have done a lot more. Now in this show, they could have still pushed for the romance, right? Yeah, I felt like when they were making this show, they had like a really high moral high ground, where they just like, we can't have anything sexual or romantic regarding children or something like that, which is retarded considering they're not real people, they're just animations. But still, what they could have done is they could have gone for a 16-year-old, when they were 16, the story would have started. They would have kissed and made out a lot, right? And their romance would have gotten real hotter because of their physical relationships. And when they were 18, when the show ends, they could have had sex. Simple as that, right? Now it feels like after watching 50 episodes, it just feels like I worked for a year and got the wages of 2 months, right? If they would have done the thing that I'm saying, where they would have gone for 16 to 18 and then added a kissing scenes from the start to sex scene at the end, they would have felt like, I worked for a year, I'm getting at least 10 months of wages. It's still not enough, but it's still like considerable amount comparing. What else do we have? Some fights end way too fast. That's one of the things. Unnecessary flashbacks. This show just has flashbacks all over the place. Just like continuous flashbacks. It's just like, flashbacks getting to the point of the main character is getting beaten up. Flashback of childhood tragedy. Main character gets powerful. Flashback of childhood tragedy. Flashback of childhood tragedy. I mean, like, if I count, I bet like there are like 40-50 times, nearly as many episodes as there are in the show. There's like flashback of childhood episode all over the fucking place. Other than that, we have they have flashback of last episode. Like in the last episode, something happened, and they give flashback of that episode. This episode, which like, dude, I just watched the last episode. Like, what's the point of giving you a flashback? It's not a preview. Like a recap. It's just a flashback, random flashback, and then give flashbacks of this episode. It's literally this thing. Like the main character is talking to some character, right? And they're about to fight an enemy. And the side character is like, dude, come here, I need to talk to you. And they're like, okay, what do you want to talk about? Then they cut to them fighting, right? And then the main character uses some special move or some skill to defeat the main character. And then they give the flashback of talking to the side character 10 minutes ago, where he explains how to defeat the enemy. And it's like, what the fuck? He just told him. Why did they do a flashback? You could have just done it normally, or don't do it at all. Just tell me. They could have done that, but no, they just had to go the roundabout bullshit way about it. So what else do we have? The Megano doesn't make scientific sense, because the show says that Megano is an alternate dimension that overlaps this dimension. It's like, what does it exist inside this dimension, or is it on top of this dimension? If it is on top of this dimension, then why are like things that exist in this dimension are in that dimension? They try to explain it like everything in this world gets copied, which is like makes no sense. Like, why exactly are like normal things getting copied in that world, and like why are they getting destroyed? Like I can understand that the Megano has miasma in it, like bad energy or whatever. That shouldn't affect like physical things, like that should affect people or like animals or shit. It shouldn't affect like the surroundings, the buildings and shit. Like, that makes no real sense. Like, some modern buildings they're built in the Megano as well, but they actually don't mean anything. It's so fucking weird. What else do we have? Is exorcism magic? This is the last thing that I want to say about this. Is like, is exorcism magic actually? Like, can you explain that shit? It's like, in some shows, magic is more like Avatar the Airbender. While in some shows, magic is more like, producing ice and water out of your hand and throwing it at people. Then some shows, magic is like, creation of things and teleportation and all that. This show is like never really explained. Is exorcism magic, or what exactly is exorcism? They didn't really go into detail about that. Now I want to say one last thing about the show before I end it, is that the desire to remove desire is a desire itself. You could take that as a moral of this review, I guess. The reason why I'm saying that is when you watch the show, something that comes up is related to this moral. Rating would be 7.5 out of 10. Considering the genre it is, that is the highest I can give. If they had added the romance aspect perfectly, there would have been 8. If they added the harem properly, there could have been 8.5. And this show could have easily gotten at least 8.5. Amongst various other things they could have done to increase the show, like add death to the show, actual death, which you would think that I'm giving a spoiler. It's not a spoiler, believe me. It's just so blatantly obvious That, as I said, you have to be a retard not know that these characters are not dead. Now I'm going to end the episode right here, but all of those who have not watched the show can quit out right now, right? Everyone else, you guys can go head on to my Twitter in the link in the description. Go and follow me there. There's also my Dtube account. Go and watch my hentai let's play there. As for everyone else who has already watched the show, can stick, because I'm about to say something about the show that will change the way you watch the show. A lot of the people, I would say, like, if someone told me this that I'm about to tell you guys, is that would certainly change the, it won't ruin the show for me, it would change the perspective and the way I look at the show, which is not a good thing. So if you've not watched this show, you already got your review. Click out of the video, go follow me on Twitter. And as for everyone else, I have a question that I want to ask, and the question goes here good now. Major spoilers, 1, 2, 3. Did Benio get raped at the end of the show? It's like they show this thing where she gets trapped in the cocoon, the main character saves her, they go up, and then she's like, didn't you need the power within me by having sex with me? Then he's like, no, when you were inside the fucking cloak or whatever, I took the power from you. So how did he take the power from her exactly? Can someone explain that to me? Because he doesn't explain that, and she just like, okay, yeah, she must have taken the power. But he specifically said that unless they have sex, she couldn't, the power can't be taken. So did she get raped? Because it looked like, she didn't look like she was in pain or anything. So I thought like it's more like he raped her, took the power, and then used a healing item to heal her back and reinstate her hymen or something. But other than that, I cannot really tell. That if the main chick got raped or not. I doubted how the main enemy is like at the end of the show, but there's a high possibility that there's not a high possibility, there's a low possibility, but there certainly is a possibility that the main chick got raped. So there's that. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.